Thank you, Dr. Gaurav. I'm going to be taking it up from where Dr. Gaurav has ended on working up and counseling a refractive surgery candidate. And see, we work like a computer. It's always an input, process, and output. Input is starting to think like a refractive surgeon, which Dr. Gaurav has very beautifully covered. The process, once you start thinking like one, is the workup and the counseling of the patient, and the result is the result of the surgery itself. So, what options of treatment do you have as a cataract surgeon? LASIK, PRK, phakic-IOL, and refractive lens exchange. In fact, a cataract surgeon has that added advantage of being used to working in the anterior chamber. So, there's no learning curve or learning process for a refractive lens exchange or a phakic-IOL. So what are the key points or important points which you should keep in mind before you actually start workup for a patient? One, a patient with unreasonable high expectations are not good candidates. Two, a good candidate is one who understands that refractive surgery is not risk-free, follows instructions, and is willing to wear glasses in case of residual error. Three, a good surgeon is one who does not give unreal promises, tells the patient the reasonable expected visual acuity, visual function, and the issue of enhancement. Choice of refractive procedure depends a lot on the profession of the patient expectation. 1 minute, just give a minute. Okay. 1 second. Sorry about that. So I'll go back to the slide. Am I audible?
Yes, Priya.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So the most important things are the history and the examination. In history, we need to ask quite a bit about the general history, whether the patient is a diabetic, a hypertensive, whether they're pregnant or nursing. Family history is very important. Always ask about the siblings if they're taking any treatment for keratoconus or if they've undergone a CXL, if there's anybody in the family who's got a glaucoma, if the patient is a steroid responder. Ocular history, asking about the refractive error, use of contact lens, or whether they've taken treatment for dry eye. And refractive error, of course, the things that we need to ask are the anisometropia, the fluctuations, the onset of refractive error. So always have a segment for history before you start examining your patient. Now, examination is usually divided into routine and refractive. Routine is our anterior segment examination where we check the visual acuity. One important point which I would always like to tell you that if you want to get into doing a refractive surgery, learn to do the refractions yourself rather than being dependent on someone else's refraction. External examination, look for ptosis, look for proptosis, look for squint, look for any lid malformations. Do a very good slit lamp examination, invert the lid, look for papillae, look for allergy. Otherwise, these are the patients who are going to ask you a lot of questions after refractive surgery. Look at the ocular surface, the tear film. Look at the cornea for its clarity, whether there are any scars or any history of trauma where a patient has got a healed keratitis or any scar or mark on the cornea. Look at the anterior chamber, the iris. The pupil size is very important, which I'm going to discuss in the consecutive slides. And in case if you're thinking in terms of doing a refractive lens exchange or a phakic IOL, the clarity of lens is very important. Also check the intraocular pressure. Fundus examination is very important. Please do check for the periphery and confirm if there are no lattices and holes. And in case if you do think that you're seeing anything in the periphery, do a retinal laser first. Don't be in a rush to do a LASIK. Refractive corneal imaging. It's corneal imaging. A cataract surgeon might not necessarily have a pentacam or an access to a Scheimpflug, but it's okay. You can even do a topography, see the anterior sagittal and the tangential maps. If you have access to a pentacam, then you can see both the entire anterior and the posterior corneal surface. You can also have access to knowing the pachymetry. And usually the safe limit is between 40 to 47 diopters of a keratometry for you to post a patient for LASIK surgery. Do the pachymetry, you can do an ultrasound, you can do an OCT based, depending on whatever machines you have. You don't necessarily have to indulge into doing very hi-fi tests in case if you don't have access to those machines. And normally it is safe to do a LASIK for somebody who's got a pachymetry more than 500 microns. If not, then you can probably go ahead and do your other options. Other parameters, pupil diameter is very important because you need to plan of how much you want to keep your treatment zone in order to avoid post-operative complications like glare and photophobia. Higher order abrasions is a talk on its own, so I'm not going to go much into detail, but wide to wide diameter, anterior chamber depth, very important if you're planning a phakic IOL, and dry eye. Dry eye is basically like an undercover disease that dry eye is not evaluated before LASIK surgery, and then eventually post LASIK, your patient is 6x6 and is an unhappy patient because of dry eye. So this is basically one format that I use in my hospital, which is very useful for me. So, any person who's doing a cataract surgery who wants to gradually shift into doing refractive can have a simple chart like this, that you need to fill in the chart, write everything, and then eventually you can read through and decide, okay, that I think this is probably the best option of treatment for this particular patient. So carry home message, if you spend more time in pre-operative evaluation, you will spend less time in managing the patient post-operatively. One, counsel and explain the procedure to the patient in detail. Don't think that my patient might just end up saying no. It's okay. Choose the refractive procedure wisely, keeping the workup parameters 1 and the type of patient 2 in mind. And most important is learn to say no. You don't necessarily have to do a refractive procedure for every patient who's willing. Safety is always priority. Thank you.